Good morning. Okay, I'm going to give you 5 steps to find the career and build the life you love. This will be a good use of 15 minutes for you because this is advice I've lived, other people have lived, and it's not just some YouTuber out there trying to get views. I have no views, so enjoy this. Hopefully, it blesses somebody. If you do know a high schooler, maybe they're graduating, maybe somebody is looking at a job change, send them this video. I think they'll appreciate it. All right. Life is a lot like the B movie. So you're born, you go to school, you pick a job, and you're stuck with that job for life.
But choose carefully because you'll stay in the job that you pick for the rest of your life.
The same job for the rest of your life? I didn't know that.
What's the difference?
Now, I get it. In our society, we like to be Disney and say, hey, you can retrain. But honestly, from the time you graduate college until about 32, you're just getting your feet underneath you. And that's a lie nobody wants you to believe. And so at 32, you're now able to command high wages and climb up the ladder. If you try to retrain at 32, you're starting over again. And that's a huge hit. It's not just the 4 years of college to retrain, it's the 4 to 8 years in the workforce until you get the trust and the business connections to give you the high paying jobs. And that's the piece nobody talks about. So there is a lot of pressure on this decision. If you make a good decision at this point in the career you choose, you're going to have a lot more success. And I find that the process of choosing a career is very repeatable if you follow the right. So every young person I've shared this with has been empowered by it. For myself, I want to thank the blogger Pat Flynn. He's kind of an OG when it comes to blogging. But Pat Flynn of Smart Passive Income used to have a blog post about this, and it was really powerful for me. And then there's also an incredible book, highly dated at this point, but What Color is Your Parachute? Great book to read. Highly recommend reading that at this point in your life if you're looking for a career change. So here's the roadmap we're going to cover today. First of all, we're going to talk about how you are a creator and you already have resistance to that. So we're going to talk about how you are a creator because this is a huge reality that you need to acknowledge. Secondly, we need to discuss how you need to connect with the creator. From there, we want to connect with your ideal life. And then we want to connect with your internal skill set. And this is that really big, important fourth step. And then fifth, we'll discuss connecting with your community to supercharge your rise into whatever career it is you chose. All right, so let's go ahead and start with that core truth about your identity. And honestly, you've been lied to about it for about 12 years now. I know for the last 12 years, you've been told that you are nothing more than amoeba. And that works for biology. It does not work for living your life, okay? You are not just a happy accident. If you want to live your life that way, just look around you. Everyone's living their life that way. Look at the booming weed and alcohol and entertainment industry. Frankly, guys, we are so bummed out about the fact that we are nothing more than an amoeba, that we are just sitting around trying to vape away our misery, right? We're sitting there hitting next on Netflix or swiping next on the reels because we are miserable with the fact that there's no hope for us. And over again, we are living out that message. Why should I even try? So right now you might be looking at this new career and just being like, why should I try? I'm nothing more than an amoeba. I mean, if you're a happy accident, you have no purpose, and why not just drown out your pain? And I think that is very important to recognize that you were put here for a bigger purpose. And for thousands and thousands of years, humans have understood that we were here for a bigger purpose. It's only been in like the last 30 or 40 or 50 years that, especially in America, we've adopted this idea that life doesn't really have a point. And so it's important to look at our lineage of history as humans and say, hey, listen, what we're living right now is false, artificial. It's not real. The real vision is that we were put here for a real purpose. This book right here. So I don't know if it's going to come through backwards on the video here, but this book is The War of Art. It's written by Steven Pressfield. He was the author of Bagger Vance, that wonderful movie. And he says this, he says, in fact, we are servants of the mystery. We were put here on earth to act as agents of the infinite, to bring into existence that which is not yet, but which will be through us. And then this is a new book. You've probably been seeing it on a lot of influencers' desks. I saw it in Barnes & Noble, picked it up. The Creative Act, A Way of Being. I love it. It's like a little daily devotional for the creative mind. And his very first line at the start of the book is, everyone is a creator. And when I read this, I personally found that challenging. I'm not a creator. I mean, a creator is one of those weird hippy dippy dudes who plays bongos, right? That's the creative. And our society has really divided us into two batches. One is the productive individual, and one is the creative individual, with the creative being shunned, the starving artist trope. And the reality is, every single one of us is creative. Your creativity might be working with business intelligence tools and data sets, but there is an element of problem solving and creativity that you bring to that. Your creativity might be working a customer service line, but there is an element of creativity and helping the customer and problem solving that comes in with that. And so it's very important to recognize that you are a creator. Okay. You got to recognize that. And it's why we're here. Listen, Ephesians 2 says, "For we are God's handiwork," so we're his creation. We are created in Christ Jesus to do good works. So we were created to be creative. And I know you might struggle with that, but ideally, our work should be creativity flowing out into the world. So just take a second and think about those two ideas. One, hey, I'm an amoeba, my life is worthless. Or two, I was put here to have creativity flowing out into the world. And whichever idea is more useful to you right now, grab that and use that. This idea over here that I am created to be creative is extremely empowering to me and is really how I flow out of my life. So I'm going to speak from that perspective. Our work should be creativity flowing out into the world, and it's something we do regardless of the dollar amount in our bank account. So often I've seen it where people are on Reddit and they're like, I got $1 million and now I don't want to work. I don't want to do anything. I won the lottery. I don't want to do anything. I want to sit around and do nothing. It does not matter the dollar amount in your bank account. You are here to be creative, and that is a core identity you need to get in. So the next piece is that creativity doesn't flow directly from inside of us. You're not generating this creativity. You're more of an antenna. It's not on us, it's out there. We see it, we capture it, we bring it to life. I think Homer's Iliad captures this really well with the invocation of the muse. And I won't read it right here, go look it up. But it's an age-old desire to connect with the creator and to plead with the creator that that creativity will flow through us. So being creative is more about being a TD set than it is being a pencil. You are receiving the signals and then putting them back out into the world in a way your other humans can help pick them up. So the whole idea is tuning to those creative frequencies that are beneficial to society. When you hear about writers talking about writer's block, it's those moments when they're working right there and then they lose that connection with the creative. Maybe they're tired, they're hungry, whatever kicks in. So very much like a writer really feels it, is that you're writing and then it just poof, is gone. In today's cesspool of social media, it is extremely hard to stay connected with the divine, with the creator. And there's one step that fixes that. So I'm going to go right into that now. And that's step 2. We got to connect with the creator. Okay. The way to connect with the creator is to be in his creation. And specifically, I'm talking about nature. Listen, one of my favorite stories is King David, not when he was a king, but when he was a kid who was herding sheep. Listen, you have a kid, he has sticks, he has stones, he has sheep, and he has a harp. He's just frolicking about the hills. He's misunderstood by his family. Later, the king and the country hunted him. And I think a lot of us can identify with this like misunderstood, lonely character. You're standing in the middle of your school, you're standing in the middle of your church, you're standing in the middle of work, and you just feel like this odd person. You're lonely. You're surrounded by people, but you're lonely. And we feel with this character. But what comes out of that for David all this time outside in nature is just flows out over like 100 Psalms, like 150 Psalms came from this guy. So contrast it with ourselves. Like instead of bathing ourselves in sunlight and heart music, we're drowning ourselves in just a cesspool of social media. And that's one reason why our family loves hiking so much. My last video, I shared how I restarted after my failure by running 1 mile a day. And I think that in society, that's a really achievable goal that helps keep the brain somewhat clear. But you also need those like longer hiking breaks, those longer camp trips, those longer times in nature, especially when you're going through a life-changing decision like this. So anytime you're evaluating a life-changing decision, you don't want to be evaluating it sitting at a bar. You don't want to be evaluating it sitting at your kitchen table. You want to be in nature, hiking, experiencing that to the best of your ability, and then make that evaluation after your body and brain has had some time to detox from society and you have a stronger connection with the creator. So one thing for us, for myself, is that I have social media and YouTube deleted off of my phone. I have a separate device for uploading these things to the internet that helps put a barrier between me and how much of the internet gets into my life, I certainly would encourage you in this season of looking for a new career to delete the social media and YouTube for a month and let that clean out a little bit as you're making this big decision in your life. And then, you got the daily runs we talked about in the last video. Now you're also hiking and doing things like that to let that cleanse your mind. Okay, so now let's talk about connecting with your ideal life. So before we can pick a career, what is the life you want to live? Because these two things work very closely together. If you are working as a bagger at the local grocery store, you are going to not be able to drive a McLaren, most likely, unless you're just really great at day trading. Okay. So we want to figure out what is our ideal life, and then that will create some limits and some guidelines on what type of career we want, which will be our next step. So Proverbs 28 says it best: where there is no vision, the people perish. They're dead. This is key. You have to know where you're going. What does your dream day look like? Now, this is a visualization exercise, and it's one I do frequently, and this dream gets updated frequently with new ideas. So what is your dream life? Play with different ideations. Maybe you have different paths. Most of us can envision 3 paths that we can go down. A few people can get up to about 5, but that's about the most. And so work through these different paths and these different ideas that you can think of. Too often people scroll through Reddit looking for high paying careers. And then if you're like me, you go, hey, I think I'll be a doctor. That one pays really well. And then you're in pre-med like I was, and you're working these internships, and you see these doctors working 60 hours a week, and they worked, 60 or 80 hours per week through medical school. And then they graduate with all this debt, and now they're forced to work 60 to 80 hours per week in the hospital. And in reality, 4% of medical school students drop out. This means not pre-med. They make it all the way into medical school and then they drop out. That means 1,200 humans stop on a journey where they have already acquired $200,000 in college debt. And now that's a suffocating statistic. If you're one of those people and you have 200K in college debt, but you don't have a career that can pay for it, that is rough. You want to figure these things out before you get into that journey. And that's what this next step 4 is going to be about. And of course, college debt's crazy because you can't file bankruptcy for it. So you're just stuck with this debt. So since I was 16, I've been dreaming up my dream day. And so I have a lot of practice at this. And I'm going to visualize everything from getting up in the morning and greeting my family. What does my family look like? Right? Who do I wake up next to? Is she blonde? Is she brunette? Like, these are things I play with at 16, right? What do my sheet count feel like? What does fabric feel like? You go to the store and you feel it. What does a good towel feel like? One of my first purchases was a really nice towel with my paper route money. I wanted to feel what a great towel feels like. And, keep in mind, I grew up extremely poor, so this was a huge luxury for me. This vision has changed greatly, but here's some of the recurring elements for myself. One, I want to have plenty of time with my kids, and that's something that I'm still working on. So plenty of time with my kids to make quality memories. I've always planned to be homeschooling, and that played heavily into my choice of a life partner with someone who shared that vision of homeschooling. I wanted my children to maybe share an office space with me, and that did not work as well until just recently, where my oldest became 15. He's now in high school, and it works really well for him to share an office with me, and I love having him around here with me. I've always wanted to have regular fitness. This is another one that I'm working on, but it's been a core part of my dream vision. I've always wanted deep community. And to those of you who are watching this, who are my friends, listen, some of you I've known for like 20 plus years. Our kids are playing with each other, and that just brings tears to my eyes. I love that so much. I've always wanted deep community, and to now live that is so empowering. So these are some of my visions. If you know me, you know that these are things I'm either living or I'm currently working on. And these are things that have been a dream for me starting when I was 16. So I really encourage you, if you've not dreamed of your ideal life, play with that. Right now, I think it might be fun for me to have a beach house one day. I don't know if that's like a 1-bedroom condo when I'm 60, but I kind of got this idea that it'd be great to wake up and have my coffee next to the beach. So we'll see where that one's going. If you don't have a guiding light for what your life to look like, you're going to plan your career and wake up down the road to discover that your ideal life and your career are on 2 very separate paths, and there's no way to bring them back together. And even worse, I've seen a lot of people who don't have a vision for what their ideal life is, and then they choose a life mate. And because they didn't know that, hey, I want to be a homeschool farmer, or I want to be a doctor, I want to live that high paced life, or I want to live that really slow life, they marry a life partner who's very incompatible with the life they envisioned. So it's very important to get that life vision down. All right. This comes to the big step, big old drum roll. Step 4, we're going to connect with your skill set. So get out a pen and paper. And this is kind of an easy one. This is a lot of fun. I enjoyed this. Start by going through your YouTube channel. So, what are the themes you love? If you're looking at mine, you're going to see a lot of themes about longevity right now because I'm turning 40 and I want to live forever. Ain't going to happen except in heaven. I definitely like looking at health and things like that. Watch a lot of stuff on YouTube about fitness. I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube about money and finances. I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube about business. So there's like 4 main topics that I watch a lot on YouTube about. So what are the main themes that you look at on YouTube? Now, go to Barnes and Noble and buy 5 to 10 magazines that interest you. You don't have to buy them, but I really do enjoy spending the $200 or whatever to do this. And I've done this on multiple occasions, especially when I'm looking to enter a new industry. I go buy all the industry rags or magazines about that, and I find that very handy for me to get caught up on that industry very quickly. So just go buy 5 to 10 magazines, pick out the ones that interest you the most. What are they? Are they car magazines? Are they gardening magazines? Are they home decoration magazines? What are you picking up? Grab those and bring them back home. Okay. Now, set those 2 things aside and go write down a list of your skills. What are you good at? What currently can you use to bring value into the world? What are your strengths? Ask your friends. What are my strengths? And you should end up with 2 lists. One list is the things that you find interesting, the things you're watching on YouTube, the magazines that you're apt to pick up. And on the right-hand side, you're going to have a list of your strengths and these ideas on how you currently bring value to the world or could possibly bring value to the world. When I was doing this was really heavily when I was about 25, and I was really good at writing. I was really good at customer service. I had a decent mind for computers, not as strong as some of these other strengths, but I put it down like, hey, I could probably become a computer scientist if I needed to. But you have 2 lists. In a lot of cases, these lists are incompatible. One list is like all of this hippy dippy stuff, right? We're out here. We want to be a tour guide in the Grand Canyon. We want to be a bicycle racer. We have these really great fun ideas. We want to be a dancer, a singer. Over here, we have these things that are more practical. Hey, I'm really good at organizing. I'm really good at customer service. And there seems to be like no match between the 2. And we need a career that society is willing to pay us for. So, all too often we just say, hey, I'm good at crocheting. And then we start trying to make a business selling scarves. But if our life plan, the one we created in step 3, requires a $120,000 a year income to realize that, there's going to be a massive disconnect between those 2. So you either need to make a lot of scarves or you need to create a unique brand or unique angle within your scarf line that allows you to sell each scarf for several $100s. So in my case, I loved both business, writing, and bicycles. And I was really good at the writing piece. And so I created a blog about bicycles and it went instantly to 6 figures a year. And then when that failed, last video, I now had all of these great marketing skills I had learned during that journey. So right now I'm in the agency work. And while it might not be like quite as good of an alignment for me as running a bicycle website, I really do enjoy the variety and I enjoy the business aspects and I enjoy working with some of the coolest business owners in America and growing their business. So this formula works every time. Listen, if you love helping people and your strength is that you don't get squeamish, then being a nurse could be right for you. If you love helping people and your strength is that you don't get squeamish and you are good at taking tests and you love 60-hour work weeks, then go be that doctor. If you love animals and your strength is social media, maybe you could be a trad wife. I'm joking a little bit, okay? If you love animals and your strength is taking tests, you should probably be a veterinarian. If you love animals and your strength is fixing stuff, you should probably be a farmer. So at the end of the day, it goes back to Ephesians. You were created, you were given gifts, unique gifts to you for a work that was already planned for you to do. So we're going to already have the giftings and awareness inside of us. We just have to recognize them. And if you are really stuck on this 3rd step, this monetization step, I want you to open those magazines you bought And I want you to start looking at the ads. And those ads are all ways that other people are currently monetizing their passion in a similar way to what you're interested. So you can go do something similar, or maybe you could get a job working at one of those companies. All right. Now, a quick note for those few people who have finished this exercise and still have, three really excellent career choices on the table. First of all, I've seen people live very fulfilling lives chasing two part-time jobs. And there is that unique person. Maybe you have a little ADHD and you're great, working half day on one job, half day on another, and you actually find that more fulfilling than having a full-time career. And so that could be a great example. One of my favorites is Tim Chiasano, um, who is a career coach on YouTube. He also has a little part-time gig as an NHL goalie, right? Very fulfilling. And so that is something that you could be very fulfilling for you. Now, generally, I'm going to say pick one. I always choose the one that I think will make me the most money. That's kind of how I tend to roll with that. And I say that I think the top three options, have always been on my table was the doctor thing, which I dropped out of pre-med for. Computer science, never really got into that. And then this one that path that I'm on with the agency work. So a bit of it was trying a couple of different paths and just seeing the one that clicked the fastest with me. Now, my wife is really good at always choosing the one that she tends to have the most alignment with. She's very in tune with herself, and she does a great job choosing career paths that make her that the happiest. So ultimately, pick the one that enables your ideal life and go with that one. And now let me go to the secret cheat code, because you have your career path, you're connected with the creator, things are flowing through you. How can you move faster? And it comes with connecting with your community. My brother and I, this is many years ago, we were playing disc golf, and he's just like, man, they say that we are the average of the five people we hang out with. And I'm like, yeah, I've heard that. I was like, apparently all we need is a few millionaire friends and we could be millionaires. And he's like, okay, well, how do we get more millionaire friends? And for the next 2 years, I wrestled with that question quite a bit, especially remember, he and I came from food stamps. And even worse than that, we like lived in condemned homes and things like that. It was a hard thing for me to figure out. And what I discovered is that I could, for myself, buy my way into some communities. I spent 5K and 10K a few different times getting into marketing masterminds where we had robust online communities and even in-person events. And that did a lot for helping me build my network. And then that network did a lot for changing my mindset and elevating me. So the outcomes you want in life are boiled down to the community you want to hang out with. And if you're ever looking at a problem in your life and saying, I don't know how to solve it, it boils down to one simple thing: you're in the wrong community. So let me just break this down for you. You want to be a pothead? Go hang out with the potheads. You want to be a bank robber? Go hang out with some bank robbers. You want to be super fit? Go hang out with super fit people. They do fit people things. Do you want to be a better dad? Go hang out with cool dads. Do you want to be a better business owner? Go hang out with business owners. You want to be a nurse. Maybe you went through this. You're like, I want to be a nurse. Well, go hang out with nurses. And that could just be that you go get a job at the hospital right now today, working the front desk, so you have closer proximity to nurses. You're going to go to nursing school. And when you get done, you're already going to have the connections you need to launch your career faster. Maybe you want to be a mechanic. Go to school. While you're doing that, get a job at the auto parts store. Go get a job changing oil. Start hanging out around mechanics. Get a job being a service advisor at a shop. That puts you around a lot of mechanics and it pays pretty well. Want to be a pastor? Start serving in your church while you are still in seminary. I can't tell you how many people I've seen in seminary who aren't actively serving in a local body. And you got to be both. You got to be around it. So that is it, guys. It's 5 steps. Life is about being creative. We've got to connect with our creator in order to be creative. And then we need to visualize our ideal life to stay on a path that is enjoyable to us. From there, we connect with our unique skills. And then we use all of that to connect with our new community to bring those unique creative contributions into the world. If you haven't met me before, my name is Quentin Hamp. Starting on May 15th, you can visit quentinhamp.com to download my guide to building a successful 7-figure business. Until then, pass this video on to someone who will appreciate it.